Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and the Canadians are back in the win column. They get the 4-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres. Pretty good game, I think, especially through just most of the game, especially early on. They kind of I thought they really just dominated the play. You'd love to see, a little bit more goal scoring maybe. I mean, you got 4 goals, but especially early on, we were kind of clinging on to a 1-0 lead for a long period of time. The Sabres tied it up, and then we were able to, eventually score again, and that one would, hold out. We get some insurance that time, but you'd love to see, especially in a game where you're that dominant. Not to shade the Sabres at all. But, we were definitely controlling the pace of that game for, a good period of time, especially early on. You'd love to see, a couple more goals be scored, but generally speaking, a pretty good game. I think, at the end of my last video, I talked about, playing a 60-minute performance. I think they did that. There were definitely some moments during that game where they kind of faltered a little bit, where you would like them to, especially, in a close game like that, you'd like them to kind of control the play a little bit better. But overall, I thought they played a really good game. They played, especially like a neutral game that I thought was definitely dominant for a long stretch of it. There were definitely stretches in that game where it looked like the Sabres really weren't getting anything going. It was all kind of Montreal. It was just a matter of, getting a puck past Levi there, who had a great game. So, but yeah, I thought great game overall. Scoring wise, Oliver Kapanen gets his 4th of the season, so pretty good for him. I feel like I don't see too much out of him 5-on-5 in terms of just like playing off the puck and just anything other than the fact that he scored a few goals. But Demidov does a lot of the work there. He's able to fish one up off like the boards or something like that. He makes a toe drag cut towards the net, gets off of his stick, but then on to Kapanen's stick, he's able to kind of slide that through the 5-hole and in. Newhook gets the other assist there, so definitely a good way to start that off. It just feels like through the first 7 games here, it feels like every time Demidov is on the ice, something's happening. When he gets, time and space with the puck, like things are happening, and he just looks great. He's adding, I think that's his 5th point now in 7 games, so definitely a good start of the season for him. I still would like to see, I don't mind his line at all. But I would like to see him play with some better competition. It'd be interesting to see how that would go. Maybe just move things around, like maybe put Bolduc in there for Kapanen or something like that. I do like him playing with Newhook. I think the speed of Newhook complements Demidov well. And Kapanen and Newhook have both shown scoring touches over their past couple games. So I don't mind it. It would just be interesting to see what that looks like. I think especially just having Demidov on PP1, I really don't understand why, we still have not changed our power play. I feel like I think we had 1 chance on the power play today, so another great sample size, but we didn't really get too much going throughout that time, so I don't really know. I would like to see, I think currently we have Bolduc on the first line power play. I would love to see him and Demidov switched. Not to say that Bolduc isn't playing well. I think he's having a good stretch here. Obviously, he's got 3 goals, so no shade to him at all. But I would love to see. Maybe I think Bolduc is in the middle position. I'd love to see him get switched with Slafkovsky. I don't really understand why we have Slafkovsky on that other wing. I'm not shading him at all. I think he's having a really great start to the season. I just feel like Slaf's his big strength is the fact that he's 6'4", and he's got he's gotten a couple tips in front and stuff like that when he's been on that position in the power play in the past. He's got a good stick, good hand eye. So I'd like to see him try the front of the net position out, kind of where he's been previously. He can bang pucks home from in front as well. So I would like to see that, and then put Demidov on that other wing. I think that would just be interesting to see, have Suzuki, Caulfield, Demidov kind of right through the middle strip with Caulfield being in that bumper position, and then Hudson and Slaf kind of being at the top and then the right in front of the net. I feel like that's the move. And as I'm thinking about it now, I just feel like I so do not miss Patrick Laine. I mean, it's tough to say. I really do think that he provided a big boost to us last year on the power play, but man, like he's just has been completely unremarkable through 7 games. So, and with this injury stuff, I have no idea where he's at. And Kirby Doc is another question mark as well. I'm sure they'll be back soon enough, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on the power play right now, but anyway, Kulik gets the goal for Buffalo in the second period. I mean, that's just one of those things. It's like you can't. You fail to get the puck out. We have a bad breakout, and then they're able to fight for it, and they capitalize off of a nice like backhand shove gets past Dobash there. So yeah, I mean, but that's like credit to the Buffalo Sabres. I was really impressed by their game throughout the entire thing. I thought Buffalo would kind of give up on themselves as they have in previous years, but they were, especially on the forecheck, they were very, very aggressive on the forecheck, and I think it caused a lot of turnovers and just like inability for the Canadians to get the puck out of the zone. Whereas in against other teams, you might get a little bit easier there, and it's not as heavy of a forecheck. But I felt like the Sabres had a lot of energy tonight. They were feeding off the crowd maybe, but they were just able to get the puck out of the zone really well on their end, and then they were really good at giving pressure to our defensemen, preventing us from getting good breakouts going. So I was really impressed by their game. In both zones there, I thought they deserved maybe a better fate, but that's just the Canadians for you. It looks like it's weird to say, but it looks like the Canadians are just one of those teams. It's just that you're gonna have to bring your A game to beat, and sometimes even that's not going to be helpful for you. So definitely a good game from the Sabres, but I love what I see out of the Canadians so far through 7 games, so that's good. Juraj Slafkovsky gets another one, so he's got 3 goals. I think I saw somewhere that in last season it took Slaf like 30 games or something like that. It was either like 27 or 37 games for Slaf to get 3 goals on a season, and in this season it took him only 7 games to get the 3 goals. So that's definitely awesome to see. Dobson able to make a nice play. I was watching this game. I was like shouting at my screen, watching Dobson not shoot that puck. He just had a wide open look, and he decided to go around. I think he went for he's gonna fake the shot and then go and kind of tuck it behind what is his name? Levi, Devin Levi. He's gonna tuck it behind him into the bottom post, but he missed going for the tuck, but then it went out to Slaf, and Slaf was able to put that home because there was just no goalie in the net at that point. So, good play. I mean, either way, if he's able to get that tuck in, or Slaf is able to score it, either way, I think it's a good option. It's just in the moment I was like, oh my God, is he not going to shoot this puck after such a great pass by Suzuki to get that to find him there. So which, by the way, yeah, like just most guys would just like go back down the wall or go up to the top. He was able to find Dobson kind of cutting down as Suzuki was going back up towards the blue line. So it was a really nice vision by Suzuki, that was his 8th assist, and he has 9 assists now after the empty net goal at the end of the game. So he's playing really well to start the year. But yeah, and then Lane Hudson gets his first of the year. He gets a nice kind of feed. If you watch it back, like he's like I think they showed on the Prime Video stream anyway. They showed just like an isolation of Lane during that play, and he's just kind of surveying the ice, and then once he sees the option, just like the quick muscle fibers, the fast twitch muscle fibers get going, and he's able to just like quickly just bolt towards the front of the net, and is able to get that shot, and I think it just squeezes like underneath the armpit of Devin Levi and goes in. So nice to see Hudson get his first of the season. It took him a hell of a lot longer last year to get his first goal of the season, so good to see that. Newhook gets another assist on that one. So yeah, getting offense from everybody. It's good to see. Lane has been all over the place, and I was like, thank God Lane Hudson actually shot a puck. There was that really great sequence, I think, in the first period between Demonov and Hudson on the 4-on-4, where like they were just making really nice plays. It was kind of a give and go, and Demonov gave it back to Hudson, and he had the whole net to look at, and shoot. And he tried to go back like into 3 defenders to give it back to Demonov, and I'm like, ugh. You want Hudson. I know Hudson is, much more skilled as a passer than a shooter, but you would love to see him shoot on that one. So I'm thankful that he did on that one in the third. That gave him some much needed insurance. Ended up being the game winning goal for Lane Hudson, so that was good. And then Tyson Kozak gets his first of the season. Kind of a nice play. The Sabres just kept throwing it at the net. They had a good number of shots. They had 32 in total, so they outshot the Canadiens at the end of the day by 1. But yeah, they just kept throwing the puck at the net, got to the net, and then Jack Quinn. It looked like he was trying to shoot like off the rebound, but it kind of fanned off his stick, but went perfectly over to Kozak, and he was able to put that in. He was kind of all alone in there, so nice play by him. To make things close. It was 3-2 at that point, so. Credit again to the Buffalo Sabres. They looked really good today. They're looking hot. Off of their they were coming off of a 2-game win streak. They shut out the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. So, they had a really impressive game. Credit to Dobesh as well. A ton of great saves. He made 30 saves in that game. So. Which we'll get into I guess there's a goalie controversy now going on in Montreal, but that made it a tight game, and it wound up all the way down to, I think they pulled the goalie with 2 minutes left there, and then just a really nice sequence by the captain Nick Suzuki. He's able to he's right up front, right on Dahlin. Dahlin gets the puck and tries to shoot, and Suzuki is able to make a nice, pad save. And not only did he make the block there, and it gets into his, under his skates, he's able to find that puck and make a nice, heads up play to put it off the boards in a way that only Jake Evans was going to be able to get back and get to that puck. So he basically had a breakaway at that point. So a really nice heads up play gets Jake Evans his first of the season on an empty net goal that would seal the deal with just over 30 seconds left. So yeah, definitely great work by Suzuki there. That's his 9th assist and 10th point on the season. I think 10th point. Does he have a goal? I don't remember. But yeah, either way, he's playing unreal. But also, that's the funny thing about what I've been seeing from him is just he's playing really well, but also I feel like he could be playing a lot better, especially what we saw of him, post Four Nations last season. I feel like he was just playing out of his mind, but I feel like he's you're not seeing a ton of Suzuki being a game-breaking player so far, but also he's got 9 points. I don't think he has. No, he does have a goal. So he must have 10 points. I don't know. The app's not updating on my end, but either way, I think that we can expect more out of him, which is funny to say. He's near the top of the league in points, but I think we haven't seen all that we know we can see out of him. I'm just looking at the points now. Jack Eichel has 15 in I would assume 7 games, so that's kind of unreal, especially considering a lot of people say Jack Eichel isn't necessarily an elite center in the league, so that's kind of crazy. But anyway, he's still high up there, Suzuki. So but I feel like we can see more out of him. I feel like he's got another gear to unlock, and honestly, considering the way he's playing, I'm okay with him, maybe waiting until crunch time to whip that back out again. So as long as he makes the Olympics, I'm happy with the way that he's playing, and I think the Habs can't complain. They improved to 5-2-0 on the season, so that puts them in a really good spot as well in terms of, league standings and all of that. We're sitting pretty with 10 points on the season, second in the Atlantic right now, and also fifth in the league overall, which is funny. I mean, Detroit, I don't know what happened to Detroit. We beat them, pretty handily, like a 5-1 win in game 2 of the season, and since then, I don't think, they haven't lost a game since then. So they've been really impressive. I don't know if maybe the Canadians unlocked the Red Wings or something like that, but they've been really impressive. 5-1-0 through 6 games, so really impressive from them. But anyway, back to the Canadians. I think a great game overall. I think the biggest thing that I saw in this game that I think is just I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's just the Canadians have trouble getting the puck out of their own zone. It's just, I know, like, the Buffalo Sabres were really not good at forechecking, especially I felt like Josh Doan played a really good game for them. He was able to push the Canadians in their own zone, cause turnovers, all that kind of stuff. So he was really impressive, but the entirety of the Buffalo Sabres was really good at forechecking. But either way, I just feel like, the breakout of the Canadians is just not working. Sometimes it works. I mean, sometimes we're able to get those good stretch passes through the neutral zone, but a lot of times it feels like we're trying to go up the wall, and players aren't catching passes when they're supposed to, and kind of stuff. And that's what I feel like a lot of our our goals against have come from, is just a failure to get the puck out of the zone when you have the chance. Because even if it's not like an immediate turnover and a goal, like you can't get if you don't get the puck out, and then you're ending up in your zone for an extra 30 seconds. That's another 30 seconds that all of your guys are playing on the ice, and who knows how long they've been on the ice, previous to that. So it's just, you got to be able to get the puck out of the zone when you have the opportunity to. I feel like there's a lot of times where just like our defense are just kind of throwing it up the wall, hoping that somebody else is going to be able to poke it out. I feel like we got to be a little bit better at, possessing and finding that pass so we can get out of the zone, evade that pressure, make the Sabres or whoever we're playing, regret, giving that extra pressure to us, because we're able to break out and then maybe even get an odd man rush because of that pressure that they're giving us in the defensive zone there. So that's the biggest thing for me. But other than that, I mean, I'm really liking the way that the Canadians are playing. Like they're showing signs of like a really, really solid team. It was a solid game overall. There were the moments in that game where I felt like the Buffalo Sabres were gonna come back and bite us, kind of like the Rangers did 2 days ago, but. We stuck to it. We played well, and, we got some points pretty much all the way down our lineup today. So, I think, the Canadians haven't really had, since that game against Detroit, haven't really had a game where they've just kind of blown the team out of the water. But, that's the way it is. If they want to give me, hypertension, that's that's on them. But as long as they get wins at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. So, a good game from them, a good win. So I'm happy with the way that all went. We go on the road to start another road trip here. I think we are in, where are we at? We're in Calgary, I think. We're in Calgary on Wednesday. Calgary just has 1 win out of 6 games in their season, so it'll be interesting to see. I feel like, again, like as I said in the last game, like every team is going to give the Canadians their best effort. The Canadians, have a target on their back a little bit as an up-and-coming team in the league that's, currently sitting, in top 5 in the league standings. So we're going to get their best game, and I know if you've been watching my my Instagram series, I've been talking about the Flames a lot and how I feel like they're hungry for more. They want to win games. They want to get back into the playoffs. So we're going to have to be ready for them. But I really like the way that the Canadians are playing. I mean, just why stop now, right? Start another win streak. We lost 1. Let's get another one going. Let's win some more road games, and get Demidov some more points so we can get ourselves back-to-back Calder's. So, but that all remains to be seen. So that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys on Wednesday for the first of the road trip against the Flames.